Hi there, everybody. Welcome to our third episode of
Maughter podcast.
My name is Claudia, and I am mother.
I'm Polly, I'm daughter.
Today we're talking about,
Paranormal stuff.
freaky stuff that happens or stuff that's happened to others. First off, I want to say really quickly, I have this little booklet that I write down stuff in just so I can, be on track. And the other day I was here by myself at home. The kids were in bed, and Polly was obviously at her home. And I opened it up to write something down, and it was funny because she left me a little note. And like last time we talked about, Polly calls me Fees sometimes. That was one of my nicknames. So I open up this book and it says, Fees, if you see this, ... I love you, ... and don't look behind you, ... Like the creepiest time, because I think it was like 8:39. So I call her and I send her this, I text her and I send her this picture. I'm like, really? Because I looked at the booklet and I moved my body towards the wall so I didn't have to look behind me.
It worked. My plan worked.
But yeah, so that's the intro.
She's that easy to scare.
It's freaky. Pardon me. So I'm gonna start off by saying one thing. I get very, very easily scared. Like, to the point
on edge. Very on edge.
Yeah, but I'm actually not. I just get freaked out quickly. Like,
we went into my basement today.
Okay, that was creepy.
I just moved into a new house and I wanted to show her around, and we went into my basement, and it's pretty freaky. But
okay, so first off, you have to kneel down to get in. I'm short enough, and I still have to kneel down. And then there's like a little bit of a leak, so she's getting that fixed, and she's like, "Come look into this room. I want you to check it out." I'm like, "There's no light on." And I'm like, "Okay, let me get my flashlight on," and it's like dark and eerie and creepy.
Damp.
Yeah, it was
spider web.
Yeah, you turn around, there's a huge spider web, and then there's a spider moving, and I'm out. So I ran out of there, and then I almost tripped up the stairs. You know, normal weird things that people do when they get scared.
And the light to that room flickers. So.
Yeah, it's a creepy basement. I think you need to move.
Just basement.
All right, so I guess today we're going to talk about personal experiences with paranormal, freaky stuff that's happened to us.
Unfortunately, I've had a lot.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yours are creepy.
Yeah. She'll be on edge, just me talking.
Yeah, it scares me already. I got the EBGBs already. Okay, so how do you want to do this? Do you want me to start? Or do you start and you tell one story, I tell another?
Sure. Yeah,
okay, I'm going to tell you right now, my stories compare nothing to Polly's experiences.
And she was there for most of them too.
I was there,
happening,
but not I was there for the aftermath kind of thing, right? Because if it was happening,
the evidence.
The evidence, yeah. Okay, so just keep in mind that I'm a very easy person to scare. So my stories, as I said, are not going to be as amazing as Polly's because you can you can go hide behind a door, and go boo, and I'm and I'll freak out, right? Okay, so my personal experience with some paranormal. Oh, remember the placemats? Sorry, we're going to talk about that. I'm already scared. So we used to live in this 3-bedroom condo, and Polly's dad had set up the basement area to be a movie area, a TV area.
Theater.
Yeah, a little theater on one side, and the other part was computer. So he put my computer and his computer face to face. So his computer's in a corner, and he'd stare at the computer, and behind that would be a small desk, and my computer's in there, and my chair. And then you just walk up the stairs kind of thing. So you could literally see, if anyone was walking up or down the stairs, you would see their feet, period. You know what I mean? So he one day tells me that he's sitting there, and I heard him call my name. So I come downstairs. But before that, he was saying that he was sitting there, and he saw my chair move, and he heard it move, twist. And he's like, Claudia? And then obviously I didn't answer because I was upstairs. I believe it was in the kitchen or in this upstairs area, because it was stairways up. And he's like, hey, Claudia, what are you doing? And he said it twice. And then he looked around, and nobody was there. So then he goes and yells my name. He's like from the basement, Claudia, really loud. I'm like, yeah. And I peek around the corner. He's like, are you upstairs? I'm like, yeah, I've been here the whole time. And he's like, the chair literally just moved. I'm like, how? I've been upstairs, and you were in your bedroom.
Yeah, it was nighttime.
Yeah. And then the next day, he comes downstairs, and there's 10 to 15, because we had a huge DVD wall. Because we have all these DVDs, and we put them on the wall once we watch them or keep them, whatever. He comes downstairs, and there's 10 to 15 DVDs pulled out. Just a peek enough to kind of hold the place. And he runs upstairs. He's like, what the heck is going on with this? I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, the DVDs. There's DVDs moved out. And I look, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell you that Ernesto, who's my brother, came over to decide what DVDs he wanted. He thought it was like something going on with the house, but
Yeah.
it was your tío who picked these DVDs and he left there. He's like,
I
I'm gonna
remember
come back.
that.
I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, my bad. So that's one of
Because
my.
my dad being scared is like not a thing.
Yeah,
So-
right. That was kind of like his experience, but fed off mine. Um, the other things I've had is only two other experiences personally where I've been in this kitchen and my spouse Dan was home, but he wasn't in the kitchen area, and I was standing there, I was cooking something, and I felt a tug on my sleeve. And I turned around, I was like, nothing was there. And I'm like, babe, did you just touch me? And he's like, no. And he's like way over here, like in the living room. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. Because he knows I'd scare easily, right?
Yeah.
But I had one tug there, and I was at Walmart once, and I was shopping, and the aisle was completely empty because I tried to get something from the top shelf, and I'm short, so I can't. So I was like looking around, like, okay, nobody's here, so I'm trying to tippy toe it, and then I put my feet down, and I felt a tug on my skirt, and that was enough to freak me out.
The kids.
Okay, when you say that, that freaks me out more because I don't have any kids in my life that I've lost. Like who? I have no kids in my life that we have like
Maybe
even.
it was a kid that lived here.
But I was at Walmart. What, did they follow me to Walmart? Walmart now?
Well, maybe there was a kid that died at Walmart.
Okay, stop. You're
You
scaring me.
never
I have to
know.
go back to that Walmart. And if there's a kid that died in here, that terrifies me. What if it comes and eats me at night? This is why I can't talk about these things. I'm
a
very
kid.
irrational.
The most they'll do is like hide stuff on you, joke around. Like they're troublemakers. They're kids.
But that's the thing. That's the only thing I've ever had, and the only person that we have that, like, in my immediate family is, of course, my grandma and my mom. But my grandma was in Chile when she had passed, and we hadn't been close for quite some time. And my mom, but my mom is short, but she ain't that short. Like, let's be honest. Like the shoulder, maybe. Because that happened in between, like, when I first moved in, and then after Dad had moved in. But Walmart, yeah, it freaked me out. Anything just touching me, like, just because you don't know, right?
Didn't you say that something like turned on by itself when, I don't know if it happened to you or a family member, and like a radio or a TV turned on? And it was
Oh
like,
my goodness. Okay, so when I was in Chile, the first time I went to Chile was obviously when I was a baby, and then I came back when I was 15 years old. So I went to Chile, and it was, okay, so 15.
South America is super haunted by itself.
Stop it.
It
Is
is.
really? Like, literally?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so.
it's an old land. It's like
Yeah,
filled with dead people.
thanks.
Yeah.
No, I was 15. So how many years ago is that besides a million?
25.
I mean, so 25 years ago. I just really aged myself now. Thank you. So, like, 10 years ago. So, 25 you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot.
So
Sorry.
I was like just born.
So 25 years ago, when I went to Chile, they got the family got, like, my cousins and everybody got a stereo. So, like, those plug-in stereos. So my cousin was playing a stereo, like a cassette, because it was back in the cassette eras. Okay, so yeah, so it was the time when cassettes were like just coming in, kind of thing, and big deal, blah blah blah. So
Oh yeah, I was just born.
Okay, like a million. It wasn't even then. It was before. Anyways, my cousin had plugged in the stereo, and he was listening to music. And my grandpa says, "Hey, turn it off, please, because we're gonna eat dinner soon." He goes, "Okay," so he shuts it off. We go sit down, and it just starts blaring loudly, and we're all looking at my cousin like, "You forgot to turn it off, or did something," because we thought it came with a remote, and it didn't. Because when I was here, I already had a stereo, so I already knew something came with remotes. And I'm like, "Is there a remote?" And my grandpa's like, "No." And I'm like, he goes, "Go turn it off, please." So he goes and he shuts it off, but it didn't need to shut off because it was like there's no button to press, kind of thing.
It was already off.
Yeah. So it shuts off. Then we're like, all okay, whatever. So we sit down and we're about to eat, and it blares for a third time. And my grandpa's like, "Hey, unplug it." So he goes and he unplugs it. We sit down, and again, it just starts going off. Like, super loud. It wasn't even like low, it was loud. So then my grandpa looks at me and he's like, which I didn't do, actually. He said, "You have to go visit your great grandma," because that would be my mom's grandma.
Why?
Because my mom, whenever she went to Chile, she would visit her abuelita Emma, and because she had passed away, but she was one of the grandmothers that had like helped raise her, and every time she goes to Chile, she would have to go visit her grave to say hi and pay her respects. The one time she didn't, she was washing dishes in Chile. There's like an open window by the sink, and she heard a knock, and she's like, "Oh, these kids," because we have like a house full of cousins, right, that are kid cousins, and she's like, "Hey, you guys, stop it." And then she continued washing dishes, and then it happened louder. And it scared her because she's focusing on these dishes. So she goes around the corner to look and to yell at the kids, and there's nobody there. And that was her grandma telling her, "Don't forget to come visit before you leave." Because she was about to leave in a week or so.
Okay, I don't know where to start. There's
Start
so
from the
many.
beginning. No, just kidding.
The beginning.
A beginning to
I'll
get
start with the tame ones.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you need to talk about the placement.
Okay, so I remember the place. Okay, so my mother used to live in an apartment in downtown. just off Jasper Ave there, and she lived on the ninth floor or 13th floor. I can't. 13th, yeah. So she
Because there shouldn't have even been a 13th floor in an apartment.
whatevs. 13 is not an unlucky number for us.
It is in every other apartment building.
And every other house, and every other part of the world. Yeah, me and Polly were sitting on the couch, and right beside the couch is a balcony that you just slide open and close. Now, I remember something about a placemat.
Yeah, so I was reading, because I used to read to help her fall asleep.
That's right. My daughter read to me to sleep. That just sounds weird. I did like listening to your voice because it's soothing. And it's only at your grandmother's house. It was just so relaxing the way you talked and stuff like that.
But it was like true crime.
Yeah.
It was like serial killers.
So romantically sweet to hear my child read to me crime stuff, death.
Yeah, I remember we were reading something scary, and all of a sudden, like, her apartment was small, so the dining room was basically in the living room.
Yeah.
And the placemats that she had on the table, one of them just fell.
Because they're like vinyl ones, right? The thinner vinyl ones.
Yeah, they were like plasticky. But it slid off the table, and it was so loud.
But the window was also closed.
Yeah.
Like the balcony window.
Yeah, there was like no draft.
Yeah.
But it was so loud in the middle of that apartment. It was just like, and right when I was reading, I was so into it, and it was right beside me. Scared the crap out of me. And then also there, I was in the living room, Grandma was in her bed, and you can't see into the kitchen, but you can hear, and like if someone's in there, and she had a spoon in a cup. Every time she made tea, she would stir it with that same spoon, and it was like, on the counter, and I heard a utensil fall, so I went into the kitchen, and that spoon was out of the cup on the floor.
What did your grandma say?
The cup didn't even move. The cup was still in the same spot.
So it's not like it fell over.
No, it didn't fall over.
So someone must have picked it up
and threw it on
dropped
the floor. Yeah.
Oh, what did your grandma say? I got like goosebumps.
Nothing. I don't think she really said anything about it.
She's probably just like, it's okay, Sister Spirits from Cheetah saying hi.
Yeah, she wasn't bothered by it.
She's like into spirits and stuff like that, right? So.
At the condo. I remember going into the basement. So like my Aunt Lori, she didn't really talk about ghosts that much, but I knew that she believed in them. And I remember she came over and she said that she did not like that laundry room at all.
Like your Auntie Lori came to our condo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she came for a visit with Tammy, and she said that she did not like the vibe in there at all. And yeah, I went in there one time, and I was we had a huge pantry, and I was looking for something, because you sent me down there. And I was standing there looking, and there was the biggest breath right beside my ear. Like it was warm.
Ew!
And I heard someone breathe, and I just got the biggest chills. I turned around so fast and no one was there.
Is that when you came back upstairs with nothing in your hands? No, I'm just kidding.
Probably. But yeah, that was so freaky.
Ew, so what kind of breath was it? Like just like a deep,
it was just
long... Ew,
like
what do you think it was?
I don't know, whatever was in that house. Something was in that house. Because something was preying on me.
Why you?
Because I was a kid.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah, so all the worst things that happened to me were in that house. The other things, I would get scratches on, I bite my nails, so
it's a very bad nail biter when she was younger.
Because that's like my nervous tick. And yeah, so I couldn't scratch myself.
No.
As hard as I tried, I could not, to the point of making myself bleed, no.
No, it was impossible.
Way. So, and I would wake up and there would be scratches on my back.
Yeah, I remember you coming down and you'd be like, "Please look at my legs." I'm like, "What did you do?" And you're like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "Well, you must have did something. Like, did you scratch yourself?" So I check your nails. Nothing. Then we go upstairs in your bed because you had like a foam mattress bed.
Memory foam,
yeah. So you were pretty high up.
No springs.
Yeah, there's no springs. But she had like on one of those like Jisk beds with the desk on the bottom, and then you up the stairs were like and then so you were pretty close to the roof. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe you lifted up because you know how I had like the popcorn kind of roof ceiling kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe you lifted up your leg and scratched it. But I'm like, okay, that would be impossible. The only thing you could scratch was
my
your
thigh.
Feet.
It was
it was on your thighs. And I'm like, we checked every single stuffed animal that you had in your bed to make sure there was nothing.
Because my dad didn't believe me either.
Yeah, because it was weird. Like these scratches were like what, this long? How long is that?
Probably 7 or 8 inches.
So 7 or 8 inches, long. One line on your legs. I remember specifically on your legs.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we checked all their stuffies. Nothing. There was not even like a hard stuffed animal. We checked the window where you because they were blinds.
Mm-hmm.
We checked the blinds to make sure everything was intact. That you didn't get scratched that way. We checked everything to make sure there's nothing around you.
Yeah.
And that's when you mentioned your back. You're like, can you look at my back? It hurts. And then you see the lines.
Yeah, because it was like, these scratches hurt. Like, you know when you get a scratch and it burns?
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like, they felt like fresh scratches.
It looked like fresh scratches.
And one time, I went to Claudia's work, and I didn't notice anything in the morning, honestly. And, like, I got dressed, we went, and I was sitting downstairs, and you came down, and I said, can you look at my legs? Because they were burning. Like, something hurt. And we went to the bathroom, I pulled down my pants, and there were letters.
And that's when they spelled them.
Yeah.
And it had spelled Polly. So it had Poll and Y on your
On
leg.
my legs. Facing outward. Like, I would have to do it upside down and backwards.
Oh, it's so gross. It's creepy.
Yeah.
That's what got me. That was like my turning point when I look at it. I'm like, Polly? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, it says Polly. And she's like, what? You were like, what? And I remember the P-O-L was on one
And
leg,
then L-Y.
L-Y on the other. Because I'm like, Lee. I'm like, L-Y. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like looking at it, and afterwards I look at the other leg, and it was P-O-L.
And it was like it just happened. Like, it...
Because they were fresh.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you scab after, like, a couple of days and whatnot? Like, usually on a scratch and everything?
Yeah, and it, like, I thought I would have noticed, like, when I was putting my pants on.
Because they looked like they hurt. They were red.
Like, if you put your pants on, you have scratches on your thighs, and you put on jeans, you're gonna notice.
They rub hardcore, yeah.
But I never noticed. So it was weird. That one was weird. And then the scariest thing that happened to me was I was in my bed. This is when I had my captain's bed.
Oh, yeah, the captain's bed. So the captain's bed is the bed, which is the mattress, and then underneath there's 3 drawers.
3 drawers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had this big shelf of stuffed animals. So my bed was against the wall facing the doorway. And I had this big shelf of stuffed animals right beside the door. And I could see straight out the door. And then straight out the door you could see the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And I remember laying in bed, and I had my eyes closed because I was going to sleep. All the lights were off, but we had street lights outside, so my room was still kind of lit. And I opened my eyes, and there was someone crouched.
Oh, sorry.
There was literally someone crouched in front of my stuffed animal rack, and I thought it was my dad. Like,
I just tried to freak you out.
Yeah, because I can picture it. I can still picture it. It was someone really thin, like crouched down into like a fetal position, like on their feet, like on the ground.
Ew.
And I remember, like, I thought it was my dad. I blinked a bunch of times. I was like, am I, like, seeing things?
Did you say anything?
Yeah. So I sat up and I said, Dad? Because I was scared, right?
You're freaking me out right now.
And it didn't move. It didn't do anything.
So you're low to the ground already, so you can...
I'm like,
No!
I'm like, it's probably maybe 10 feet away from me.
Oh my goodness, no, I'd be dead.
And I'm the same level as it right now. And just as I said Dad, it didn't move or anything, but like right after that, my dad flicked on the light. Downstairs to come up the stairs. And I heard him come up the stairs, and right when he turned on the light, that thing was gone.
What did it look like? Like, did you see its face?
It was too dark to see. No, because it had its face tucked in.
So it was like a shadow.
No, it was a thing.
No, but it was like dark, like a shadow, darkness kind of thing.
It was like a silhouette, but but you knew it was a 3D thing. Like it was an actual.
Can you imagine if it touched you? Oh my goodness.
Even if it looked up.
I'm like almost freaking out. I'm crying. I'm like, can you imagine?
Yeah. So that was probably the scariest thing that's ever happened.
Did you tell your dad?
No. I was too in shock. Like,
did he notice that you were awake?
No. He just went straight to bed. And right when he turned off the light again, I was scared that it would show up again, but it didn't. And then I forgot another thing that happened. When I had my loft bed, I had like those plastic things that hang on your door.
Okay, so they're like streamers, but that was like back in the days when you get them from
like
Claire's.
The 70s, yeah.
Yeah, you get them from like Claire's, and they had like the different colored ones. They're like these big, thick plastic streamers that hang on your wall. When you open, you move them, or they move with you, kind of thing. Yeah.
So you have to move them to get in the door.
I love those things.
So I remember in my room, I could just see the top of my door from my bed. I couldn't see anything below like the top 2 feet of the door.
Because it was in the loft.
Yeah. And I had a bunch of crap on my floor, and I remember I had like a couple bags, like plastic bags, whatever. And I remember I woke up, or I was already awake, I can't remember. But I heard we had no pets, by the way.
Yeah, we had like a gerbil, but it was in a separate room. But this is probably before we had our gerbils.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had no pets.
This was after.
Oh, okay, so yeah, no pets, no cats, no dogs, not even fish, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, so at the top 2 feet of that door, I could see the streamer things. I remember my room's kind of like pretty well lit.
Yeah.
And I looked over because I heard something, and I could see and it was still dark. I could see the 2 of them separating.
So that's someone's coming in.
In my room.
It would be, yeah, because that's the only way it's gonna move like that.
Yeah. But it didn't open like a person was coming in. It didn't open like...
So it was something small.
Yeah, something small. And I was like staring at it, because then it started to like wave, like something came in and you know, walked past it. And I heard something like crawl, I guess, on the bags that were on my floor.
Oh.
And yeah, something walked right into my room.
Did you look?
No, I was too scared to look.
Oh my gosh, imagine, what in that moment, I have like a tear coming because I'm freaking out right now down my face. Okay, so imagine if you did look, what would you think it would be?
I think it would be that thing that was in my room.
Ew, I'm so scared I can't even put my feet down on the chair.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. I think it crawled.
Oh.
Because it must have been so low to the ground because I couldn't see it.
So my second question is, why you? I'm already freaking out. Like, I can't even think right now. I'm so scared. I don't want to put my feet down and knowing that I have to be like, I'm gonna make sure the kids are sleeping with me tonight.
I think I was just a really vulnerable kid.
But you weren't, were you?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe just the negativity that built up in the house. I don't know.
Does it follow you now?
I don't know. Every time I went to my aunt's house while we were living there, Lori would get scratches.
Only when you slept over?
Only when I slept over.
Even now as an adult? Like, before she had passed and everything?
She did mention, I think it was beginning of last year or the year before, she did get a scratch when I was living there. And it was like they're deep scratches.
They are.
She would get a deep scratch on her arm.
I remember this. I remember the scratches. I felt like they were not light. Like when you really grab your leg and just scratch it like really intense, you get that little white line. Yeah. It's deeper than that. It's like 2 steps deeper than that.
Actual scratch.
It's like a cat scratch almost, but like a human scratch, like a fingernail scratch in the sense of like the scratch is that deep.
Yeah.
Because I remember like there were times like you can see like these things would have scabbed over if there was one more like layer of skin, it would have scabbed.
Yeah.
Because that's how deep it was.
Yeah.
Paul, I can't even imagine. Okay, not even gonna lie to you, if that ever happened to me, I would probably literally just die right there. Like, I'm that weak of a person. I would probably freak out, cry, or yell. I wouldn't be able to move. Can you imagine if it touched you? Oh my goodness!
I was asked to leave. I went to, and I knew something was following me.
What do you mean?
Because I went to a spiritual shop. Like, they sold like crystals and...
You were asked to leave?
Yeah, the lady, immediately when I walked in, she said, "You have something really dark attached to you. Can you please leave?"
What the heck is wrong with you, my kid?
I know. And she straight up, like, when I walked in, she looked at me to greet me, like, she had a smile, right? And her face just dropped. Like,
I think I have a possessed devil child. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But this is the thing. You are an amazing person with an amazing soul that would give anything and everything for anybody. That's what scares me.
I don't know why.
Like, maybe
they're taking advantage of that.
So what, are you like this deep down devil child inside or what?
No.
So then what? How can this person just look at you and be like, you need to leave? It's like you have bad vibes? Like bad things follow with you?
Like, it looked like she saw something behind me. Like, it looked like she was, like, looking around me, like my aura. Like, something was attached to me. I don't know. It was creepy. But yeah, and... yeah, she immediately just got bad vibes, asked me to leave.
What did you say?
And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like 14, 15.
Oh my gosh, you were young, not even an adult.
No, I wasn't even, I was a kid.
You were a kid? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You need like a cleanse or something.
Yeah. I do have like sage.
You're like rubbing it all over your body? Right.
Yeah, if I ever move back into that condo, then we're saging the whole place.
You should sage that because it's like burn it down almost. You think something happened there? Or do you think it's just... No, it's gotta be... No offense, honey, and I love you with all my heart and soul, but it's gotta be you.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's not like it's super old, the condo. Like, it's not like they're super old. It's just pouring
It just started pouring rain. Oh my gosh, the police spirits are coming for us!
I did a Ouija board once. Did I tell you that?
Like, you've never done a Ouija board? I've done a Ouija board many times when I was a kid.
No, I've only done one once because I was too scared.
Who did you do it with? Can you say that?
Chelsea.
And what did you do? Like, did you... Like, for me, a Ouija board experience is... You always think is that person moving it, but they're not, and you know they're not. So, I don't know. I personally believe in Ouija boards, but I'm pretty sure they're not real, because... I don't know. It's a Ouija board, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, personally, I didn't see anything, but she thought there was someone on... Because we did it at her mom's apartment.
Okay.
And she thought something was on the balcony. Because you get, like, the balcony door was...
Oh my God.
Like, all, glass, like, window.
Yeah.
And she thought that something was out there.
Like, she thought or she saw something out there?
I think, like, she thought she saw. So, I don't know for sure.
Didn't you guys go look?
No, I was too scared.
At least look, like, peek.
No, because what if something was?
Then you get the heck out of there and run for your life.
I'm not going to go outside when it's outside.
Well, but you can look. Oh, it was glass, like, you can't see through it.
No, you could see through it, but it was, like, the reflection, because it was dark outside, so there was, like, reflection from, like, the lights inside that were on and stuff, so I don't know for sure, but Reese has a homemade Ouija board.
That would be terrifying to play with. We should totally do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, we did a Ouija board at your great grandma, so my grandma's house in Chile. I was 15, and of course they never heard of the Ouija board. So you make your own, kind of like with paper. That's what we did, right? And again, people may not believe in Ouija boards, and that's totally cool.
It is
Some
a
people
game.
do.
It is a Hasbro game.
It is a game. So it's just basically calling on to spirits and stuff like that. And we were doing it at your grandma's house. My grandma's, your great grandma's, and we were doing it with my 3 cousins. And to get rid of the spirit, you have to say goodbye and put your thingy on it. And we would do it, and this Ouija board, like the paper that we had, because we had a cup, it would move when we had our hands say goodbye to it. Everyone had their hands on, and it would move to no. And we're like, no. Like,
goodbye.
Yeah, because my family, like my mom's side of the family, they believe in spirits and they do tarot card readings and stuff like that. Like, so they're very spiritual kind of believers in that stuff, right? So I'm looking at them and they're looking at me. They're like, we need to get rid of the spirit because we are in my grandmother's house. I'm thinking she's gonna kill us all. So we had to like somehow get rid of the spirit. And then all of a sudden, it just started grabbing the glass and moving all the papers all over the floor. And all of a sudden, my grandma opens the door. She's like, what do you guys do? We crapped our pants. We were bawling because then she started yelling at us, obviously, right? Because what do you guys do? You should never play with the spirits. How are you supposed to get rid of the spirit? No, and she had to do some kind of cleanse in that room because we were playing with the spirit. She was furious. And like my grandma, it's like your...
Well, yeah, because it's not always good spirits.
No, exactly. And like imagine your grandma, well, you've seen your grandma mad, but like a tamer person than your grandma who is pretty chilled. She's like the most quietest soul you'll ever meet, and she lost it. We were so terrified of her for the rest of the week. We like hid. But like she was so angry, and yeah, the Ouija, like the person we were talking to did not want to go. And it was like some kid that got murdered. That's all I remember.
Holy.
My cousins and me were like freaking out because like I said, it started throwing all the papers everywhere with this glass. And you have a glass cup, right? Like a small lightish kind of glass, and it just started throwing like the papers everywhere. And we're just like, oh my god, what do we do? And then oh my goodness, it was crazy, yeah. I've had some crazy experiences with Ouija boards. But again, they're games, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know who's playing it. But I'm going to tell you right now, honey, I love you. I'm never doing a Ouija board with you because I think I'd be traumatized.
Get possessed or something.
Yeah, like, no. I wonder who you could talk to about that.
I don't know. I've always wanted to go to, like, a medium or a psychic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys are listening and you have any info on how do we get this possessed thing outside my child.
I don't think it's in me. I think it followed me for a long time.
So does it follow you still? Oh my gosh, is it here? Now you're going to be leaving and I'm going to be stuck with this possessed thing.
No, I don't know if it still follows me. I don't know.
But yeah, if you guys have any info, we would like to know what we do and how we get rid of this or find out.
But I don't want to pay $400.
Yeah, no, we want something free because we're cheap apparently. We want this $400 spirit to stay with her until we can afford it. Yeah. You're so
Doesn't
funny.
bother me that much.
Yeah, because it hasn't happened lately.
Yeah, like I've had little weird things happen, but nothing to the extent of that. I think it was, like, I don't know, that house was just weird.
And you want to move in there one day again.
Yeah, well, my dad is giving it to me.
Well, you can sage it, I guess.
Yeah. Get a priest to come in, you mean?
Yeah, right? The holy squatter. They won't even step foot in there, and they'd be like, nope, bye. Oh, no.
But, like, if it is attached to the house, I'm scared if I go back, it'll know it's me, you know?
All the blinds just open up when Polly walks in. I'm sorry, I shouldn't joke like that, no.
Well, you never know. I don't know what would happen. If it would feel the same, like the same vibe, you know?
What happens if it goes for Riley then? Does that
That's
scare you?
another thing, yeah.
Yeah, you're sage in that place, man. Like,
Because
you're getting it done, because...
There's a video, like, there's a few videos I've seen of, like, there's a video of this baby in its crib, and it's weird. It's so weird, because there's, like, a camera in the corner of the room.
Right.
And you can see the whole room. And it's, like, like, this baby's probably Riley's age, probably around 6 months.
Yeah.
And this baby gets picked up out of
No, not physically.
Physically. And it's, like, someone is standing it on the edge of the crib, like the railing, and like holding it there. And this baby's crying, screaming.
Where are the parents? Why aren't they going?
Well, they're probably just waking up. But this baby's like screaming and crying. And you can see like a light being turned on or a parent coming in or something, and the baby falls back into the crib. And it's fine, but there's something held it there. Like if I saw that on
I
the
would
camera,
crap my pants.
yeah, I'd be like, sorry, we're going.
Yeah.
Never coming back.
You know, my son sleeps in a crib still, right? Now I'm going to be terrified and have, like, can you sleep with me today?
Hannah won't even get out of the crib with me.
That is true. But he'll be sleeping. That'd be...
Yeah, I'll show you the video after.
No, please don't. I'm good, thanks. I believe you. Yeah, I believe you. So today's going to be the day that I'm going to be terrified to be home. So if anybody knows my address, don't ever scare me. It'll be one simple knock and I'll jump 5 feet. Oh. No,
yeah, I think if there's a loud noise right now, you'd probably crap yourself.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah. Even the rain, we're just like looking at each other like, what is that? Oh, it's just rain, we're good. Like,
yeah, it was loud for a minute.
yeah, it was. It's because it's hitting like the things outside. So lately talking about like spirits and stuff like that, or like when Carla, like my best friend Carla, her daughter Katrina was a little bit younger. She was in the crib. She said that she would hear her like laughing and giggling, like jabbering, and she'd be sitting up and there'd be nobody there. And Carla believes that it was her grandmother who recently just passed away before.
Yeah.
Like, that would, even something like that, experiencing that would freak me out. Like, I don't know, I've never had that with my kids, you know what I mean? It'll be the odd time, like, Chirito, like, Maria will look into this thingy and just smile, right? But, like, but this when she was younger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that ever happened in my home and that happened, like, in front of me, I'd probably freak out. Even if it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I don't know. A 3-year-old recalls past life, identifies killer, and the location of their body. Their past life body.
What?
Yeah, a Syrian boy born with a long red birthmark on his forehead showed the elders where his past life body and the murder weapon were buried.
So was his, like, his mark on his face, like, his death kind of scar?
Yeah. And I've heard that before. Like, I've heard, like your birthmark is where you were killed in a past life.
Do I have a birthmark? I'm going to check my whole body for a birthmark today. I'm going to be like, what is this birthmark from?
I have a birthmark under my arm that's in the shape of a spade. Reese has a big one on his side.
So does that mean, like...
Maybe he was stabbed.
I'm stabbed by somebody.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
you never know.
Things. Probably died gracefully, but was Reese just stabbed. Oh my goodness.
She doesn't have any birthmarks yet, Riley.
I don't... Hannah has one on his back. Both the kids, I believe, have a small one. The little ones have small ones on their backs.
Yeah.
Not for a knife wound, so we're good. Screwdriver, maybe. No, just kidding.
Ice pick.
Right? Okay, so those are our personal experiences, right? Like,
yeah.
what we talked about. Oh, I have one. It's more of a medium, though, so it's not really, like, an experience of paranormal. Sorry. So, when your grandma had passed, the day before when we were spending the night, so I won't go into details of how my mother passed. That'll be for like another time. But me and Polly had spent the night at her house before.
The night before.
Yeah, the night before she had passed. And I believe it was like a week before, or during that time frame. I don't know if it was the day before or the week before, but she looked at me because she used to have these little indigenous girl and an indigenous boy pictures that were like kind of painted, but like with fingers, like kind of like, I don't know, like
finger painting?
No, not finger paint. They're like actually painted like by artists and stuff like that, like smudging and stuff like that on them. They were like very detailed. They're beautiful, and they were on these little like wooden frames. And she looks at me, she's like, Claudia, and I'm like, yeah. She goes, are you gonna take my little babies with you, like with you, if I pass away? and like the pictures. I said, yeah, Mom, I'll take them, of course. Because I thought they were beautiful. I've always thought they were beautiful. And it's a side profile of a little girl, like an indigenous girl and an indigenous boy. Like siblings kind of thing. And they're beautiful pictures. And they're just small. They're like small little frames, right? And she goes, make sure you take care of my babies. I said, for sure. Because she's had these pictures ever since she's moved out, like, many years ago, right? And then I never told anybody, but a day before she had passed, she talked to me and said, Claudia, if anything were to happen to me, I want you to have my jewelry. And I'm like, yeah, okay, because what's going to happen to you? Relax, because you know how I am with her, right?
Do you think she knew?
I don't know. So she says to me, she goes, the jewelry is all yours. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, your grandma, she didn't come from billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
She had maybe a couple of, like, very...
Sentimental jewelry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was not, like, costume, but it was sentimental to her, which I'm the same way, where I keep little things for sentimental reasons, right? And she looks at me, she goes, oh, my jewelry, I want you to take care of them. They're yours. And I said, okay. I'm like, not like you're going to leave anywhere time soon or whatever. You're fine. Okay. She's like, okay. Sure enough, of course, fast forward the next day, she had passed on. And I never told anybody that because when we were packing up her things, my brothers, they looked at me, we were packing up stuff, and they just grabbed her jewelry box and just gave it to me.
Yeah,
without exactly because
right?
Yeah, whether it's a wedding ring, a jewelry, expensive gold or not gold or costume, they just gave all the jewelry to me, which I still have, of course, and I have it in the house somewhere. And there was a medium thing, a comment on Facebook, and I believe Carla had commented and somebody else had commented. Yeah, you guys did as well, you and Reese. And I made a comment, and I post some things about my mother on Facebook, but mostly on her anniversary of her passing.
Yeah.
Like,
and no details.
No, I don't. I don't give any personal information at all. I just say, like, I think of my mom on this day because it's our day of, but we lost her, right? And on her birthday as well, posting, like, happy birthday to her.
But you can't see, because your profile is locked.
Yes, my profile is locked.
Can't see any of those posts.
No, the only thing, if you can, is if you're friends or friends of friends, which this person I don't know. So yeah, the medium had commented and said, if you guys want to hear from a loved one, please let me know and comment. So I made a comment. I said I would love to hear something from my mom, just because it's been a while. I'm not going to lie to you. I do believe in dreams and stuff like that. And it's been a while, like at least a good year that I haven't dreamt of my mother. And my grandma, or my auntie in Chile had said that when you dream of someone, it's because they want to say hi to you in their dreams kind of thing, or they're here with you. And it's been a while, like I said, like a year or so that I haven't actually seen my mom in a dream. And yeah, I just wanted maybe to hear something from her. Yeah. So the medium had replied that I have no doubt that you get messages from your mother all the time. And she was definitely a person that spoke up and spoke out. She always loved to tell everyone hello, and which is so true, because she is like that. And that's one of the biggest things that she's saying to you right now is hello. And she's asking you to recognize the signs that she's around you. She's also validating that when she did dearly depart, she was very sick and had many people take care of her and put a blanket over her legs, and thanking everybody who took care of her. And she wants to thank you especially because you had to take on a lot more than what you should have what you should have to, but she knew that she could leave in your hands. She could leave it in your hands. She's also validating as well that she left rings behind, which is bizarre because, like I said, I never posted anything on Facebook, and the only people that know that anything that she gave me jewelry-wise was your tios, which are Tudor and Nestle, and that's it. And no one else knew.
Yeah.
So for that was, like, enough for me to be like, oh, yeah, so maybe this thing is real. And I believe you also commented as well, right?
Yeah, so I commented and I said I'd love to hear from my son. He was stillborn last March. And she replied with, I empathize with you because I lost my own 10 years ago tomorrow, and I want to tell you that your son is absolutely around you. Try not to cry. But she did mention, she said, he's waiting for you. And in the month of December, there's going to be an announcement that's going to surprise you and catch you off guard. Which is funny because last year, 6 weeks after Ray was stillborn, I got pregnant with Riley, and she was due January 1st.
She's a January baby.
Yeah, but she came 3 weeks early in December.
So she was your December surprise kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that might have been what she was talking about. But yeah, I don't want to read the whole thing.
So I had to read my whole entire thing without crying. You can't. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see a medium. To be honest with you, our day home lady, like my day home lady, had mentioned that the Russian tea room, I think it was, is really good to check out and stuff like that. I feel like if I go, I know this is really silly, but I feel like if I do that, I'm going to get somebody I don't know. But I'm like, because really, the only two people that have ever passed away in my life that I personally know is my grandmother and my mother. And I was closer to my mother because
I think grandma will come through for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I guess that's the word the thing I fear the most is, sorry to say, waste my money kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because it's not a waste, but you know what I mean. Like it would be a disappointment to me if it wasn't my mom, because that would be the only person I have in my life that is very close to me that I would want to
I
talk
think
to.
she would know that.
Yeah.
I think she would come through first.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, sometimes there's, like, multiple spirits that come forward.
But, like, multiple spirits of who? Like, I don't know anybody that's that many people.
Well, yeah, for other people I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
But for you, you only have 2 people.
Yeah.
Your extended family, what are they going to say to you?
That's exactly it. We don't talk, right?
Yeah, so...
I wouldn't even know if they're passed or not, right?
You'd be like, oh, you're dead?
Yeah, it's good to know. If you were to, well, who would you hope to hear from?
Lori.
Yeah, your auntie?
Just because it's so recent.
It's fresh, yeah.
And so sudden, too.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was just staying alive to meet Riley.
Yeah.
Which she was scared of not getting to. She told Tammy that.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad she did.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to kind of move away from the sadness before we get really sad here and start crying on the podcast. Polly's going to read or find some stories that she had read about, and she's going to read them to us, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. I'm going to pass this to Polly.
Okay, so I was on Reddit, and I was looking at scary stories, experiences that people have had. This one isn't about this person, but where they grew up. So it says, my mom grew up in a rural part of Guatemala where witchcraft was a real thing, and there was many stories and weird stuff that her and her brothers and sisters experienced. All of the stories she tells, the creepiest one deals with a young apprentice to a witch doctor who traveled around the country healing people. He was murdered west of Guatemala City, and they had arranged to bring his body back to be buried there. They paid bottom dollar to have some poor guy go pick up the body and bring it back in his pickup truck. The guy gets there, loads the coffin onto his truck, and starts heading back, but his truck breaks down on the way. He gets out and frantically tries to get the truck back on the road, as he has to be back in time for the services to start. He's completely alone in the dark hours of the early morning, and a man in a nice suit comes out of nowhere to help him. The man gets his truck back in working order and walks back down the road into the darkness. The guy gets the body back in time, and after some prep, they begin the services. He happens to walk by an open coffin to pay his respects and sees that the dead man in the coffin is the same guy who helped him with the truck.
It was like he was helping his own body get to where he's supposed to go.
He's like, I'm getting there on time. I'm never late.
Well, he's Hispanic. You think he would be always late. No offense to all the Hispanics that are on time.
What, just you?
Hey, I'm always on. Yeah, right. I'm on time always, except for your uncle. That would be freaky. What would you do?
I'd probably crap myself.
Right?
But I would already be questioning why a guy in a nice suit is walking down a random road in the middle of nowhere, you know?
That's true, yeah. That's true.
My dad died in a motorcycle accident a few years ago, and after
Sorry, she's reading.
Not my dad.
She's reading something, just so you guys know.
Doesn't help that my dad rides a motorcycle. Okay. Anyway, my dad died in a motorcycle accident a few years ago, and after he died, weird stuff started happening at my dorm when I got back. The clock would fall off the wall and change time, batteries would separate themselves from remotes, and bangs and knocks were regular. But the weirdest thing that happened was when I got back home from college and I took a shower, got dressed, and was headed back to the bathroom to finish getting ready, and the mirror was just clearing off the steam, and lo and behold, I see smear marks, faintly, that look like lettering. So I tip the mirror, because it's one of those triple pane medicine cabinet mirrors, and I see "hey" spelled out in handwriting with the elven symbol that was in Lord of the Rings that my dad would put everywhere. This was probably 6+ months after he passed, and I have no idea where it came from, since it was only me and my mom in the house, and I knew she wouldn't do that. I have a picture of it, and I broke open a glow stick and splashed it on the mirror, but the writing was under the splashes, and none were smeared or touched. Still to this day, I cannot explain how it happened. I actually took the entire mirror off of the wall so it wasn't ruined.
Aww, it's like her dad is saying hi.
Here's the picture.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Look at that. Finally, a non-scary one. Thank you, Polly.
Yep.
Credit for that one. Do you have another one?
Yeah. I was home alone at my dad's while he was working nights, making my dinner and everything. I was probably about 14 or 15 at the time. I was watching TV while my potatoes were cooking when I heard something slam into the front door. I grab my pocket knife to check it out. Nothing. About 10 minutes later, I hear another bang at the front door. Repeat, and still nothing. Really freaked out because we'd had a few houses that got broken into in our street. Turns out I didn't put enough holes into the baked potatoes and they exploded in the oven.
Oh my goodness. With the pocket knife, you could just poke some more holes.
Right.
Oh my goodness, that was a good one. Thank you. It's making it a lot easier to sleep in this house at night now. When you leave.
But it's potatoes.
When it's potatoes. That's funny.
I was on a dating site and matched with an attractive person. So I started chatting. We made it to the plans tonight, part of the conversation, and she told me she was going to play hide and seek with Fluffy, pointing out an item in their second profile picture, a bloody rabbit mask. Okay, let's be weird. So I played along until she mentioned that they would be playing in my basement. I thought, how in the hell? Wild guess, probably. I lied and told her I didn't have a basement. Immediately she texted, oh yeah? And I heard, Snickle Fritz, booming from my basement.
No, he did not.
I won't lie to you, Reddit. I about crap myself.
I have my feet up now because I'm terrified to put them down.
Obviously, I blocked her and froze for an hour before I gathered the courage to check my completely enclosed from the outside basement. I didn't find anything, thankfully. I didn't have a smart device at all, and I didn't have any speakers that would have been hacked. I didn't even have wireless internet at the time. The basement was completely empty, and I can't explain it in the slightest. And this person replied and said that gave them the heebie-jeebies, and he said, yeah, the memory still gives them to me too. She hadn't even come close to learning my name yet.
What? No. Nope. Right there. I'd be done. Done.
That's...
Can you... No. I would be moving. I probably would be moving. Seriously.
This one says, a ghost pulled my father from his ankles out of his bed while he was sleeping because he didn't want to go to his aunt's funeral the same week.
No.
My mom was with him, of course, and woke up to see how he was just in the middle of the bed and his legs dangling outside. He was scared, pale from fear. We have had so many paranormal stuff happen to us. Maybe it's because of where we live.
Where do they live? So I know never to visit there. Ever in my life.
I don't know. Somebody asked and they didn't answer, so...
Great, so leave us all in, like, wondering where they live to scare us even more. Gosh, can you imagine waking up to your spouse hanging legs out like that and freaking...
No.
Now I'm back terrified, thank you.
Did I tell you I had sleep paralysis one time?
No? What do you mean?
Yeah. So, when I was living on Vancouver Island, there was a lot of bears. A lot of brown bears that lived around there, right? And you'd, like, see them all the time. They would, like, just walk through the town.
Right.
And I was terrified. I am still terrified of bears. Because, like, I came close to one and I just... pure fear. I don't know why. I'm just so scared of them.
Maybe because they could rip you apart in 2 seconds?
Probably. But, I did tell you that story. My friend, she was at a park with her friend. And I was staying at her house. But she left to go meet someone. So I was still at her house, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. She's like, can you come get me? Because we can hear 2 bears fighting. I said, I have to walk by myself down there at 2 in the morning? I was like, okay, fine. So I played my music, walking down the road. It was like pitch black. It's a small town, so there's no street lights.
Yeah.
And except a few, like, here and there.
Why? Why would you even go? I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, bye.
Oh, it's a nice walk, but... So I was walking down the street, and it was a residential area, like, it was all houses. And I was walking on the street, because there was no sidewalk. And I was just walking, and I heard a loud creak. So I turned, and, like, there was deer and stuff that were scaring the crap out of me. They were jumping out of the bush and scaring me. But deer aren't going to do anything to me. So, there's a loud creak, so I thought it was a deer. I turned around, and I saw, because it was so dark, I just saw the silhouette of a bear standing in someone's trailer. Like hitch trailer.
How far were you?
Oh, it was probably like 20 feet. It wasn't far. It was just up someone's driveway.
What did you do?
Kept walking. It was just standing there staring at me. I could see its cute little ears.
What if he ran towards you? Well, you'd be dead.
Probably. But... yeah, it was standing. So it was standing in the trailer because there was nothing else in it. It was standing in it, like it got on top of it. That was the squeak. Like it got in there, and it was standing on 2 feet, looking at me. Walk away, and I turned around and I saw the shape of it, and I was like, hell no. So I kept walking. I just walked as fast as I could. Didn't run. I walked as fast as I could down the street and it didn't follow me.
No.
But
Right.
I just about crapped myself. And so because of that experience, I think, I started having like nightmares about bears. And I remember so I was sleeping, and I was having a dream that, so me and my boyfriend at the time were walking, because that town is all
Walking.
all walking and all woods, rainforest, right?
Yeah.
And there was like a ditch on the side of a path we were walking on, and we jumped down into the ditch because we heard something. And in my dream, there was a bear dragging a person along this path in front of us. And I'm holding my breath in the dream. And I woke up still holding my breath. And I woke up, and it was bright in the room, but I couldn't move. And I was completely convinced that a bear was going to walk into my room.
Aww.
I was completely convinced. I could not move. I could barely breathe.
Wow.
That was pretty scary.
Yeah.
And like my boyfriend was sleeping next to me at the time. I couldn't even move to wake him up.
Wow.
I couldn't make a noise.
Well, yeah, because the bear's gonna come get you,
Yeah.
right? Oh my god, that's freaky.
And I was like,
Ugh.
and I was still like dreaming. Like I could still see it in my head. This bear walking.
Animals are so terrifying because they're so unpredictable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what terrifies us as people, I think, you know?
There was that. Did you hear about that monkey? He was a pet monkey, like a pet chimp.
Yeah.
And they put him on some kind of medication that wasn't supposed to be prescribed to him. And they put him on this medication that was only for people. And it made him go crazy. And there was a 911 phone call, so the lady that owned him had him on a medication, and her friend came over, a very close friend, so that the chimp and her knew each other.
Yeah.
But he went crazy, so the owner called 911, and you can hear the phone call on YouTube, of this chimp attacking her best friend, and he completely ripped her face off.
Ew! Sorry, I scared the baby awake. Sorry, because it freaked me out when you said it. You can't say stuff like that to me.
Yeah, they had to put him down, but it wasn't his fault. He was put on medication, right? That wasn't supposed to be for him.
Did we so detailed on that? Like, holy.
But no, it actually did. Like, they had to reconstruct her face.
I think we're a little off topic now that I'm scared even more about animals now. So thank you, Polly.
Oh, animals are scary.
I feel like not only am I gonna have paranormal nightmares, but I'm gonna have animal nightmares as well. So thank you. Thank you for making my day my evening and night very eventful. I appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome.
And she says it with a big smile on her face. Stop.
I've recorded 4 times.
All right. Well, I think that concludes our podcast for the day. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Please make sure that you guys, if you like this podcast that you heard today, hit like, and don't forget to
Subscribe.
Next week we are going to be talking about
Conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Because Claudia doesn't know anything about them, and I want to blow her mind. Make her question everything.
She's so sweet. This is what, if you have small children, I want you to know this is what you have to look forward to. Someone that just likes to...
Being scared and uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why we love her. All right, well, thanks, you guys. Have yourself a great day, and we will talk with you later. Bye.
And
well, I take my bye back.
interact, comment.
Yeah.
Please.
Interact and comment on our...
Email us.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas for future episodes.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Don't be shy. Anything you can, just
Talk to us.
let us know you're there. We'd like to hear from you.
Oh, and we're making an Instagram.
Yes, we're going to start an Instagram as well.
So we'll link it in the description.
Which Polly will do that because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'll do that.